I've just come across the bridge that leads us to the beginning of the river track, which is the northernmost point of the longest track in the Gunbow State Forest. We're going to go from the north to the south. I think we're going to come out at WWII. But on the way down there, I want to have a look. We'll go past Graham's hut, which I did a video about a little while ago. In that video, in the comments of that video, and all the people who have contacted me since then said, you've got to go and have a look at Master's Hut. That's on the way down south. And you've got to go and have a look at the graves at Cemetery Bend. And we'll have a look at that as well, because I haven't seen that before. And on the way also, I want to go to a place and show you guys a place that's almost like a POW camp from World War II. It's not a POW camp, but it's very much like it. Anyway, we'll jump back in and head off. It is winter and there's been, well, a fair bit of rain recently. The tracks are all graded. These tracks around here are, when it's not wet, I'm going to say it's two-wheel drive tracks all the way. When it's wet, you're probably better off coming in a four-wheel drive. May not need four-wheel drive, but I'd rather lock them in here than unlock them at the end and not use it, versus the other way around. Come down a few Ks and just want to show you something. This is fairly typical of camping along the Murray. Like, the Murray River is right here. The river track basically parallels the Murray, and there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of free campsites all the way along here. The river track is here. I've just driven down here. This is very typical. This track here goes to absolutely nowhere. It's not on most maps. The app that I use, the Explore Oz map, has all these little tracks on it, and that's how I find most of my campsites whenever I come out here. It's worth having a look at that app, but regardless, you can't really get lost along this track. You come in at one end, there's all sorts of offshoots back to the Murray Valley Highway, out on the right hand side, or left if you're coming up, if you're coming north. But I just wanted to show you that. Like, that's very typical. There'll be a ripper camp spot down there. You could camp right here where I'm parked up right here now. You could camp right here on the banks of the Murray. I'm going to take a turn off, a detour if you like, off this track. This is the river track. I've just come down here and we're going to head up this track here. This is Iron Punt track. All these major tracks are signposted. Through this time of year, a lot of this bush gets flooded out, just so you know, if you're not from here. There's like environmental flooding that comes through, and many of these tracks heading north-south will actually be closed. But forestry just drove past. They're spraying out some Patterson's Curse. I had a chat to him, and this track here is open. So we'll head up there. I'm going to show you this internment camp from World War II, well, what remains of that internment camp. Oddly enough, there's actually bullet holes in that sign there. We're out here now at a place called Reedy Lagoon. It's a pretty cool spot out here. It's a lot of sand out here, which is nice out here. Sarah comes out here a fair bit with her horse and rides around here. It's pretty decent. The reason I brought you here is a few years ago I found these remains over here. You see that? There you can. And I always thought I was a bit confused about it, to be honest, and someone said to me it was a POW camp. There's, what do we got here? Looks like 5 buildings, 5 foundations at least, of previous buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are concrete foundations. It looks to me like these were probably where people slept out here. Now, when I say POW camp, it wasn't a POW camp. This was what was referred to as CAC camp, I believe. What this one was for, and if I'm wrong in this, because I don't pretend to be an expert in all these things, what I believe this one here is a camp, or was a camp for emergency firewood during World War II. And from what I'm told, there was like a plantation of pine trees out here, and it now makes a bit more sense to me in my head, because there's pine trees through the red gum out here, which is not obviously native to here. So my understanding of this, there was people out here working this area. They were paid workers, and there were also internees. That is, people during World War II, if you don't know, when the Allies went to war with the Germans, for example, anyone who was a resident in Australia who was German, they were put into camps. Not POWs, they weren't soldiers, they were just like deemed a security threat and put into camps. And there's all different levels of camps and all different places around Australia this happened. And in this sort of a place, it was a very low security. There was no security to keep people in or keep people out. There were people who came here and they worked this place and they collected firewood for the war effort or for whatever effort. They were locals here as well who were paid people to come out here and do this. From what I understand, locals from here came here and they were paid to work here. And there were also people who were put into internment camps, not deemed a security threat, but they were also out here probably being paid as well. I might be wrong in all that, like I say, but it certainly explains these here. They're interesting shaped foundations. It's like the gaps that are in here are not very big. It's probably 10 or 12 inches. There's no obvious doorway. They may not even be accommodations. I'm not really sure. They might be for something totally different. It's just such a foreign thing to see pine trees surrounded by red gum. I've been out here so many times and I've never seen these pine trees. And it's definitely a plantation. Like if you look out behind here, they're all in rows. These have all been planted up. It's really interesting. I would say it's probably more like a forestry camp, I guess. Like I said, if you know more about this, please put some comments down below and educate us all. From here, I'm going to head back to the river track and continue south. From what I've been told since my video of Graham's hut a month or so ago, someone's been out there and painted it. So we'll go and check that out. I want to show you this real quick. This is, I'm back on the river track here. This is Threader Track. This is one of many tracks heading north and south from the Murray to the Murray Valley Highway through different parts of the bush. And this is a sign that you'll see at this time of year quite a bit. This is a track closed sign for environmental flooding, and I don't know enough about the environmental flooding to have an opinion on it. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. I just don't know enough about it. What I do know is that we can't use these tracks. So we're going to keep heading south along the river track. Just be mindful of these sorts of things at this time of year. If you're going to camp here, be aware that many of these tracks will be closed for this. Once the water subsides, all these get open up again all the time. I've been up and down this track here so many times, and I will again in the not too distant future. Just got to Graham's hut and it has been painted. Look at that, fresh coat of paint. Well done. Yep, it's definitely been painted. Someone's looking after it, which is really cool. If you want to know more about this hut, I did a video about it about, I don't know, maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and it was looking a little bit worn. But someone's come out since that video and painted it. Don't know if it's because of the video and a lot of people saw it. Doesn't really matter. Good things will happen if people don't care who gets the credit. And whoever did it, well done. It looks so much better than what it did a few weeks, month ago. Red hot. So if you're in the area, make sure you check this out. It's the history of it all. I've put in another video. It's worth a look. Anyway, I'm going to go and see if I can find these graves at Cemetery Bend. There's a little skippy over there looking at me. If you do come up into this area, Like I said at the beginning, there's a bucket load of free camping all the way along this river track. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of spots that you can come and go camping at. If you do, a couple of things, this river track, it's not all gravel. There is some of it's just dirt, and when it's wet, it's going to be slippery as hell. So in the winter, you definitely want to have a four-wheel drive here. In the wet, you definitely want to have a four-wheel drive. I haven't needed four-wheel drive yet, but if you're towing something especially, just be mindful of it. Two is that it is red gum country and there are widow makers everywhere. So when you set up, every time I come out along the river here anywhere to set up, all these branches, you don't want to be underneath these sorts of widow makers. Yeah, that one there maybe. I wouldn't be setting up your camp underneath these trees in the middle of the night. They might just fall on you and, well, you're dead. And the last thing is that the coat of arms is alive and well out here. There are that many kangaroos and emus out here. Just be mindful of it. You can easily get tunnel vision going down this river track because it is a really good fun drive. It's nice and bendy and it's in good condition at the moment. So it's very easy to get tunnel vision and you won't see them coming in from the sides if you've got that tunnel vision going on. So just be mindful of it. Anyway, let's go and see if we can find these graves and see whose they are. Before we carry on, I put these rock sliders, these are TJM rock sliders, side steps. Don't do any rock crawling, but I'll tell you what, the main reason for doing this was to keep the car reasonably clean. The amount of mud that I've gone through today, with the stock standard side steps on this whole back of this car would be just brown in mud. They're working a treat.
When we were younger, we used to sit on the grass among the flowers. We just let the days pass by.
I've come up the cemetery track and I was told come up here and have a look at the graves, and I thought, am I going to be able to find them? And when I saw the fella from forestry and I said, am I going to be able to find these graves? He said, oh yeah, you'll find them. This is why. White picket fence in the middle of the bush, kind of stood out like dog's balls on a budgie. There's two graves here. It turns out there were two sawmills here. There's a bit of a sign here. If you want to know more about these, it actually says here to go into the Cohuna Historical Society. And they've got a lot of stuff in town at the Historical Society about Cohuna. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in this town and they've preserved it pretty well in there. Two sawmills operated on Gunbower Island. If I didn't explain this in the beginning of this video, where we are is actually an island. This is the largest island, I believe it's the largest island in the Southern Hemisphere, where I am standing right here. We've got the Murray River on this side and the Gunbower Creek on this side, and it's all meeting up there. So we are technically on an island. So two sawmills have operated here in the 1870s, one at McClure's Bend and the other one at Robertson's Mill near this site. McClure's Bend is well, I think it actually might be where Graham's Hut is. In that video that I did about Graham's Hut, I was at the Gray's Mill site there, and that was one of them. Small town with stores and school, built to supply the communities of both mills. Here, there is rumoured to be another grave nearby. It's not been located yet. So these two graves here is Henry Stephen Mathers. He died in 1879. Oh, he's only very young. Hold on. This is interesting. So he was born the 21st of August. I'm sure that's meant to be August. It just says AUST, 1874, and died 13th of February, 1879. So just a baby, just a kid. Youngest son of William and Middleton Mathers, manager of the sawmill on the banks of the Murray River. Oh, he drowned in the river. And he wouldn't be the first, and he certainly wasn't the last. It's happened plenty of times. The river is actually quite dangerous with all the undercurrents and the deadfall that's in the river. And the other fellow that died here, born in 1881, died in 1884, 3 years old. Wow, died of meningitis. Hard times back then, I guess. But it's certainly, I don't know, there's a friend of mine who likes to, as they tour around, they like to go and visit cemeteries and stuff and see what sort of history that town has as they travel around the countryside. And I don't know, it's certainly, it's something that I can tick off my list. I've now seen it. Getting a bit dirty now. So from here, so I've come off the river track onto the cemetery track. I'll get back now to the river track and keep heading south. And I want to get down now to, where's next? Master's Hut. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that one. We have arrived at Master's Landing. This is Master's Hut. I think it was built in like the 1860s, I reckon it was. It's actually heritage listed in Victoria now, this hut. I think the local, I don't know a lot about this one to be honest. I'll actually link some notes down the bottom here about the heritage listing of this. I think the last people lived in this in like the 1970s or something, and there's a local family here that still come out and maintain it. I think there was a grant of like 40 grand earlier this year to do some restorations work. I reckon all this dirt that's built up along here, I reckon all of this here is built up from when we had floods a few years ago. A lot of the places along the Murray, we put up some dirt berms so that the flooding didn't affect too many things. It happened in town, it happened all over the place. We were helping people sandbag, helping people move stuff, lift stuff off their ground, things like that. This is pretty well listed on maps and stuff. And out the back behind here, may have gone too far. It's actually over here, behind the bush over here. There's some toilets even, campground out there. There's tables and chairs all through here. It's a bit more set up than what Graham's hut is. There's a couple of signs here. That one's no bloody good at all. Oh, there is a little bit of information here. Hold on, let me have a read. It doesn't show that much about the hut, that one. There is another sign just here which talks about Frederick Masters, but that's pretty much all I can make out on that sign. And I believe that's the person who actually built this hut. Anyway, I'll link some information down below about this hut anyway. And you can see just from the size of this thing, this is somewhat more significant than Graham's hut in size. I would say with all the boarding up that's happened there, you can't go in there. It's all fenced off properly. So I would say that, I don't know, maybe local kids and stuff or visitors or whatever got in there a bit and messed it up a bit, and maybe the place is just falling down. So hopefully with that grant that I've said about before, hopefully they can shore it up a bit so it doesn't actually fall right down. All right, we continue on now down to the WWII, which is where this track will end. Made it to WWII, to the weir. Actually, a bit of engineering this thing. They start the Southern 80 race from the other side of this weir, up towards Echuca. Have a go at that. This regulates the flow down the Murray. Something really interesting with these is a ladder for the fish. That there is a fish ladder. The fish get up and down the river in that little bird down there. It's eating fish as it it's worked it out. So that's where the fish is. If you're planning to come up here and do a bit of driving up and down that river track like we've just done, it's a good drive. It's a few hours, I suppose, if you take your time and have a look at the places that I've just shown you. And there's plenty of other things out in the bush here as well. If you're a caravaner, you can stay. There's Caravan Park in Kundruk, Cohuna, Gunbower and WWII. You can stay wherever you like. or just do what I do and go camping out the bush. Most caravans are going to get out there and you're going to have a bloody good time of it. There's a visitor centre here as well. It's a pretty impressive bit of engineering, this. My brother-in-law, he does a lot of work on the other side of the river here, and there was times there where he didn't need to bring machinery in home and stuff, and he would leave a ute on the other side of the weir here, drive in, park up his car here, walk across the weir, hop in the other ute and go to work, rather than drive all the way to Echuca, then go around just to get 150 metres across the river there. That turned out to be a pretty good drive, actually. I haven't done that all in one hit. I've done different sections of it at different times, but never in one hit. I think it's worth doing if you're around this area and you're looking for something to do for the morning or the afternoon. Have a crack at it. See you next week.